Welcome back to another episode of These Two Girls podcast with your hosts
Candy.
and Cheyenne.
Hey guys. Welcome
Hey,
back. Nice to see you. Hear you.
you ever
Great.
notice how white people are like really proud if they're into spicy food? Like they take like really great pride in saying, "Yeah, I like spicy food." Is that
Really?
you ever notice that?
That was I never paid attention to that. That's
uh,
interesting though.
random thought, you know.
Okay.
It's just
That's
something I thought about today, and I was like, huh. Because this
huh.
girl in the cath lab was like specifically like somebody mentioned something and they're like, oh yeah, it's spicy. She's like, oh, really? I love spicy food. And I'm thinking, no, white people do not like spicy food, so this is not a thing.
Hmm.
So stop it. But
Hmm.
because like the ones that do, they really feel like they need to like emphasize that.
Oh, okay.
Uh huh.
Okay.
All
I'll pay
right.
attention,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna look if I see it in my dating apps, if the white guys put that in their bio, like I like spicy food,
Eh,
because
we'll see.
they're the only ones that hit me up on the dating apps. But anyways, that's another story for another day. So, how you doing, Shine?
Oh, happy Black History Month.
Yo,
You
blackity
know,
black black,
black
blackity.
mixed
Yeah, man.
with black and black.
Mix it black, black, and what is it like coconut oil, shea butter, um,
Candy,
yeah.
because black women are supposed to help each other out. It's called shea butter.
Dang!
you know,
Okay.
I'm just here to help
Hold
you.
on, let me. Where's my
And maybe
face? I need
there
to pick
are
up my face.
no. See, that's not
Where is
even
it?
it.
Hold on. Where is it?
You
Where's my
see,
face?
you're not understanding.
Oh, there it is.
You're
Fix
not
it back up. All right,
understanding.
got it.
Let me explain. So,
Mhm.
in the Amanda Seals book, she
Mhm.
talks about how black women, there's a section she talks about black women.
Mhm.
And the point is that as black women, she's like, she did stuff like to say, if you see a black woman and she got some stuff on her face, her
Mhm.
shirt not set right, it don't matter if
Mhm.
you know her or not, you need to stop and just help a sister out. Just,
Mhm.
pick a sister
Okay.
up. So
Okay.
that's it. You just, in every way, we just got to build each other up. So right away, I heard the error. I'm just trying to
Mhm.
help you out. And maybe I help somebody else out.
You probably did. You know what I'm saying? Good looking out. Shine. I'm like putting my fists in my chest right now at you.
The
Like that's
meme.
what we do. The me.
And in the same breath, guys, it's faux locks, not fox locks, okay? And that's all we're going to say about that.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you, Shine. See, that's what we do, guys. It's Black History Month. We're Black women.
Mm-hmm.
You know, although don't just do it in February, but all year round.
Right, right.
Look out for each other. You know what I'm saying? But that book sounds like I remember you were talking about it before, so looks like something to get into. Did you read it or did you have the audio version?
I read it. I
Okay,
have not finished all of it. I'm not gonna lie,
okay,
but because I was renting it from the library app, and then my
okay.
time got was up. But my cousin put me on game to this website where you can download the ebooks for the free.
Okay,
So I
okay.
downloaded it, and it's on my iPad. So I'm reading it more at my leisure, because I don't really have as much time anymore to read like I was. We talked about it a couple episodes ago how I was reading a lot. So I had to take a step back and, do some other things.
All right, all right, all right, all
Right.
right.
But
Okay.
I'll give y'all the hookup later.
Yes,
Um,
thanks,
but
thanks,
anyway,
thanks. So, girl, our last episode.
yes, guys, our last episode. How did you guys like it? Waits for answers. Okay.
It's for answers.
Um,
Yes, I got a couple different responses.
yes.
Did anybody talk to you about?
I got I did get maybe two specific
Okay.
people kind of gave me some feedback.
Okay.
A lot of them were disagreeing with you, uh,
Mhm. Mhm. That's
and
fine.
that's okay.
And that's okay.
And then a lot of them also offered some perspectives that I had never thought about either.
Mm-hmm.
So, we can. Do you want to start with what you have, or do you want me to go?
Um, I mean, I guess I can share a few of what I got. So yeah, some of the uh people that I spoke to, some disagreed with me also.
Mm-hmm.
Some disagreed with you also.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that the most common thing though that I did hear from people
Mm-hmm.
was that they never thought about it.
Right.
Like it was an eye opener to just how I've never thought deeper than just this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I never thought outside of this box. That was one of the most common responses that I got from people. Um, I know what a girl, she reached out to me right after she heard it, and she was saying that she agreed with me, and she was kind of just venting about how her some of her friends deal with her, and really she got really really emotional about it. But I could see where she was coming from, and then she did come from the end of what you were saying. And yeah, that communication needs to happen because some people just really don't know, like they're not there in thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
they're not there, period. And I think I think for the most part though, it was, even whether or not people agreed or disagreed, it did share some light on, hey, maybe there's more to this friendship, or maybe there's more to this, or a conversation that we need to have, or
Right.
I did think that was one of um the most common factors with all the conversations um that I had with different people, because it did trigger some things for some people, good and bad. I saw some people checked me like, "Yo, Candy, are you talking about me?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Am I talking about you?"
Mm-hmm.
You know. And then I saw, where one of my friends, she called me and she said, "Candy, I feel like such a bad friend." "I'm so sorry I didn't." And I'm like, "Oh, girl, it's okay. It's not, it's just, it was just me venting, but you're not a bad friend. Yeah, I feel like a bad friend, Candy, because you're so right. I never, so it was interesting to hear some of, you know, uh, the feedback that I got. And I think I'll just leave it at that. I'll just yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I guess afterwards you can share what our moving forward is. But because I after even that whole episode and the conversations that happened after, um, there's some things that I want to change with how I do things and my moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I thought about how I handle certain things, and um, what I would want to change
Okay.
or adjust, or
Are we gonna
that whole
discuss that later on, or no?
later on. No, because I want to give you your turn to
Oh,
share
okay. Okay.
some of what your feedback with the people that disagree with me.
Well, okay. So, I got feedback from a male,
Mm,
um,
we love
black
male
male.
feedback.
He listens and he takes, uh, what's the word? He makes sure to listen and wants to be attentive when he listens. So he doesn't usually listen right away
Mm,
because he's busy working, and
right.
so. But I
That's
appreciate the
nice.
fact that he takes the time to listen and always sends me detailed feedback.
That's
So,
nice. We love our male listeners.
uh, one of the things that he said to me, there's
Mm-hmm.
the general consensus of, your friends and you and your friends aren't always gonna agree, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, just and many of your relationships, you and your parents, whatever, you're not gonna always agree. So that's
Right.
why communication is key. And but one of the things that he said, which one of the things that we talked about when we kind of got into like our group chat conversations and things like that,
Mhm.
the things that you were saying about what you send in different groups, he
Mhm.
said, you know, there are natural boundaries in conversations with any person. And it was kind of like goes to what we were both saying, but it's like you were more observant of the natural boundaries in your conversations,
Mhm.
whereas I was not like thinking about them concretely like that. Like I would just
Mm.
it's like when I re-listened to the podcast, I realized that we were essentially saying the same thing, and but it's like I was more operating on a subconscious level, whereas you, the overthinker that you are,
Mhm.
would, you know, those things are present in the forefront of your mind, if that makes sense. So whereas if I'm like I said, I open up Instagram and I'm sending something, I just automatically click, 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 skip that person, click, click, you know.
Mhm.
But you're like thinking about, oh, who would like this or who, you know. So I don't
Right.
know,
Right.
and but there it really is natural boundaries in conversations because the same things that I talk about when I'm in clinicals with even just not even like the doctor, but even the people in the office or whatever that I'm casually laughing and talking with, it's not going to be the same things that I talk to my close friends about, you know,
Right.
or you're not going to always talk politics with everyone
Right.
because, you know, you just don't want to go there with certain people. You don't want to know, you know, some people you don't really want to know that they're a Trump supporter, you know, because it might change your views on them or it might make things awkward or whatever, you know, so you just kind of stay clear of certain topics with certain people. But even less serious than that, you know, what you were saying is like you send jokes here, you send this kind of stuff there. I'm not gonna lie, I listened to the conversation again and I was like re-offended all over again.
Wow. Okay.
But you know, not seriously, but you know, I was just like, dang, you know, Candy
Ouch.
over here feeling some type of way and we don't even know, you know.
Right.
But
And that was one of the, yeah, the common things I got where people like, Kelly, you talking about me? You talking about me, Kelly?
but
But
I also
yeah.
got a lot of the same things where it's like people are like, I never thought about that,
Right.
or people who were just kind of like feeling people. There were people who were kind of like, Candy is sensitive, you know, like they're just kind of
I
like
am.
they're like, you know, like she's just needs to relax, like she's getting too deep about this. And then I found myself, because you know we had that continued conversation off air, I
Right.
found myself then defending you because at
Oh,
that point
Cheyenne!
because at that point I had understood you a little bit better, if that
Okay.
makes sense, you know what I mean. So that, you know, so
Oh
just
yes,
like,
because we did have another long conversation
right,
after we did record that. Yeah, we did.
yes, can you close your door please?
Oh
So
snap!
so
Can you just tell people about how a recording just goes really quick? Can you insert that really
okay,
quick?
stick a pin. So
Stick
y'all,
a pin.
I am I have most of the equipment with me. So I line the call in from Candy and record it onto my computer. Candy likes to record in her car for privacy and quiet and whatever. However, today, or well, other days too, but you probably remember from the last episode, she's clearly running errands while she's recording the podcast. And she's getting out the car. You hear the car door beeping. I was like listening to it. I'm like, where? Because last time I didn't notice it. And I guess because the conversation was so heated. But this time I was like, I hear it now.
Yes, guys, I record from my car, from my phone, running errands, doing different things. So like right now in a few, you're gonna hear me. go in the restaurant and pick up my food that I ordered. I'm here out here in my car in the parking lot of the restaurant waiting on it to be ready. Then I'm gonna go pick it up. I'm gonna try my best not to eat it while I'm on the phone with you, Cheyenne. I am. But a nigga out here hungry. I'm telling you, I am hungry. Um, but okay, just take out the pen.
All
Go
right.
back to the conversation.
Yeah, so there was something you were saying earlier about, kind of gaining a new perspective with the conversation. And
Mm-hmm.
even before we had the off air conversation, towards the end of the podcast, I was starting to think about things in a way where it's like, you know what? I I really don't have all the answers to what you're saying, and I really
Mm-hmm.
don't have a solid, concrete, like hard, fast way of how I feel about the topic. You know what I mean?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Because I'm able to see what you're saying, even though I feel how I feel. It's like when you take other perspectives into consideration, you realize that there is no real wrong answer
Mm-hmm.
or right answer to everything. It's like it's not black and white. But I kind of want to go into that a little bit later. But continue. So, oh, and one thing I thought about as well is that just in general, some of the things that we do, like who we are, how we move, how we react to people, how we are in our relationships, just the essence of who we are. Some of the things that make us that way are so ingrained that and so like in our subconscious that we wouldn't even be able to put a finger on it to know
Oh,
why.
girl, why you gotta take me to church?
Like you would never even be able to figure out why you are and why you speak the way you speak or why you think the way you think.
Right,
And
right.
so we have to realize that just the same way as it is for ourselves, it is for other people. And so you just can't know why. What they're.
Which is why I always think that conversations do help
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think that we have to be, you know how people always say, "Oh, this is me, that's it." But we're changing creatures. Like the same person we were last month, we don't necessarily have to be that same person today.
Right.
Like different things happen along the way that will change your perspective, change your thought process, just change how we do things. Like I was even when I was at church, was it this Sunday? The previous Sunday, um, one of the things that I try to do now. Um, I don't know if I'm moving ahead of the conversation, but the pastor was just talking about one, of course, thinking about why you're thinking that way. Like kind of pause. Where is this coming from? Is how you were raised? Does that have something to play in their culture? Like different things. Sometimes some things he say just to like pause a minute, and just think about that. Or another thing that he did say was the way you uh the way you see people or the way you respond to them or think about them, you're projecting something onto them that you're dealing with yourself.
Exactly.
Like what's going on the inside that you feel that you need to get that response from them, or you need to see that from them, or just the whole all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend to I'm trying to um I guess just think about why is it that different things that I feel like people should be,
Mm-hmm.
or should be doing, or what I need from people or want from people or want to see. Um and it's hard sometimes. And it's not easy. I know although they may stand up there on the pulpit,
Mm-hmm.
stage, whatever, and say these things, but it's a process.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So, but even for myself, um, recently, even with that conversation and going forward, it's kind of been a resounding theme in my head that everything is not black and white,
Mhm.
right? Like there's all, there's just no yes or no for everything
Mhm.
because what like perspective is a heck of a thing, right? Like we could be standing here
Sorry, you're
looking.
going to hear the beeping now because I'm coming out the car now to go get my food, y'all. I'm now coming out.
We could be, looking at the same thing and get like two different things from it. You know what I'm saying? It's just I mean all of this sounds like basic common sense, but even though we might apply this kind of stuff like to certain things, we don't really like apply it to everything. Let's just pause and listen to what Candy's doing.
You hear the people in the background?
Yes.
Y'all, I had to walk the other way, guys, because I'm passing this barber shop. Why is this barber shop active at what time is it now? Ten
I've seen
nineteen.
that barbershop every time I go there, they're open. And the last time not last time exactly, but there was some time last year that I went in there, or not in the barbershop, but I was going to the restaurant. And these guys were sitting outside the restaurant trying to talk to me. Outside the
All right.
barbershop trying to talk to
This
me.
man want me to share my food with him. I can't feel bad.
It must be the
Is this
same guy
mine?
because he was like, "Oh, bring me back something." And I was like,
Is
"Okay,
it
ha
like
ha
a
ha."
is it a big black guy?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. That's mine. Thank you. Napkins are in here. All right, guys. Got my food.
So the guy was like, "Bring me back something," and I was like, "Oh, next time," you know, ha ha ha. And then so I come back out with my food, and I was getting it, and he's like, "You didn't bring anything for me," and I was like, "Next time," and he just says out loud, he's like, "I suck toes." I was like, "What?"
That's hilarious.
And I just laughed and got in my car. Like, what?
You know that they out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? You
I'm
know.
like, you nasty. I'm trying to eat. Like, leave me alone.
See, I'm trying to avoid eye contact, Candy. Don't look. Don't look. Don't look. Okay, we made it, guys. We made it.
Oh,
All
man.
right. So,
I
um,
don't even remember what I was saying. We in the middle of a serious conversation.
right, and how we get to sucking toes? I'm telling you, man.
Girl, I know. This could
These two girls, you're rocking with these two girls. This is it's just it's life. It's ghetto out here, man. It's
the ghetto.
the ghetto. All right. So, there's something that you were saying that that I wanted to say something on, and I guess I lost my train of thought too. Um. Oh yes. Regarding so one of the things someone said to me um is that they kind of they don't think about those things and they just prefer to just be concerned about themselves and whatever. And I they're not worried about anybody else. If you want to think that way, I leave you to that. That's kind of what they were getting into their whole theme.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself, one of the things that I do, um why I think about this so much too is because I think of how we are designed, right? How we were made. Like if you want to go back to Bible and church and God, you know, we weren't created to do life alone.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't created to just it's just us. There's a whole reason for people. There's a whole reason why we say sister and brother. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear people say things like that, and I'm just saying to myself, like, you can change that because we weren't created to be that type of people. We weren't created to be in isolation and um that whole thing. So when I say now that we're ever changing, ever growing people, that one thing though can be changed because I know that we weren't designed to be like that. We weren't designed to be I don't need nobody. I'm good all by myself. All of that one person kept on repeating to me, and taking offense to what I said on the podcast.
But you know what comes to my mind when hearing what that person says
Mm-hmm.
is I wonder what happened to them, why they've
Mm-hmm.
taken this stance, right?
Right.
Because you have people, there's a lot of people who feel that way,
There is,
right?
yes.
And it's
Yes.
because they've been burnt in the past by, you know, being in some kind of
People, yeah.
community and being with people who have done them wrong, and they feel like I will not be dealing with this hurt ever again, and the best way for
Right.
me to avoid that is to do me and not care about anybody else but me and mine.
Right. It's the same thing that because I did mention to him, like, think about where that's coming from, though. Like, and of course, they didn't have to go into details with me because they
Right.
didn't, as to where this is coming from. But I did tell him, no, think about why you feel so strongly about this and why you just, you know, forget that y'all can be y'all feelings, kind of thing they were doing. And, we didn't, of course, and then again, that wasn't a yes or no thing, black or white thing, because we
Right.
didn't really come to, any resolution from that. But I listened to them. I hear you. I, I hear what you're saying. And it is what it is. Um, and it was even something that, even just thinking about that conversation, I go back to the same message, where he was saying that's something that we do with people is we tend to get louder and talk faster with people because we think they're not hearing us. So we keep going because we feel like we need people to hear what we're saying, but uh, they hear us. They just don't agree with you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And that was what that was how that conversation was going. Like they kept on going and yelling and and I'm just like, I heard you. And I feel like that happens to us too, Cheyenne. I feel like that happens to us with
Yeah.
our conversations. Yeah. Um, but when he said that, I was like, oh yeah, that sounds like some of the conversations I have with people. We just keep repeating the same thing over again because we think they didn't hear us. But bro, I heard you. I just don't agree with you. Yeah, and that's okay.
Right.
We all don't have to agree.
I think that particular point is something, not that I never knew or realized that before, but it's something that I've been more so trying to self analyze and make
Mm.
sure that I'm not doing anymore. And I've always thought that I wasn't doing it, but then I realized, like, also, not only are we, talking louder or repeating ourselves in six different ways to get our point across,
Right.
but also we're not listen. Sometimes we're not even listening to hear the person. We're just listening and coming up with a response.
Right. Listening
So
to
we end
speak
up
instead of listening to
right.
listen.
So we end up losing. It's like the conversation goes on much longer than it needs to.
Mm-hmm.
And I've found myself becoming very weary of those conversations. Like, I
Mm.
am over it so fast that I
Mm-hmm.
will tell you, "Oh, okay," and be done because I can't continue to listen to you explain yourself six more times just because I haven't said
Right.
that I agree with you. You know?
Right. Right.
So that for me has become a major issue. And so I've been trying to make sure that I don't do that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah. And I think for me, even and maybe I've heard it before, but of course some things don't hit you till probably you hear it a different way or different time. And I think it hit me that Sunday when he was just talking about in his marriage when he met his wife and they got married. He remembers he used to just do a lot of arguing and yelling and talking fast and louder, and then she'd just be on the end like mm-hmm, and he and he was just like, okay, she's not getting it, and he'd do it again. So yeah, just hearing that just made me realize that, I some of us, including myself, just need to get to a place where, yeah, we've said it. All right, fine, we did it two times. Okay, we just said it two times and just leave it there. Like, it just, not everybody's gonna agree. Not
Mm-hmm.
everybody's gonna agree with what we have to say. And we just have to be okay with that. Like, it is what it is.
One of my problems was never about really people agreeing with me, but I think I've
Mm-hmm.
said this before on here that like I've always had an issue with being understood. Like
Yes, you have said that before.
I want to be understood, and I struggle with that, like feeling like this lingering thought of like, did they misunderstand me? Did my point come across? Like it consumes my, it can consume my thoughts. So that's one of the things too that I've
But it
had
can
to,
be. Mm-hmm. Sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
no, that I've had to deal with and kind of let go of sorts, in the fact
Mm-hmm.
that there also might be people that just don't understand you, and you literally have no control over that, because you could explain
Mm-hmm.
yourself a million times and they're just not going to get it. It's just, you know, and that's separate from agreeing with someone for me too.
Yeah, I think, and yeah, and I think sometimes I think it can intertwine because you think that if they understand you, then they're going to agree with you.
Mm.
So you don't agree because you don't understand what I'm saying. So let me repeat it again to you, so you will now understand, and then you'll agree with me.
Yeah, that can be true as well. But I think
Mm-hmm.
for me, where most of my issues come in is where it's like, if I'm talking to you about something and then you now, like I just told you what I meant, and you repeat back to me, still saying what you hear that I meant, and it's not what I just said. It's like, I'm like, it's like frustrating. Like, I just said what I said to you, and you're still telling me that this is what I meant.
And can you imagine they're thinking the same thing you're thinking?
It's just like, what?
Right? They just heard Cheyenne. As, do you hear me eating, Cheyenne? This episode is so ghetto.
Oh man. Just don't
Um,
smack or nothing. Like, just, we know the food is good. Okay. But I forgot where I was going with something else before this. Um
hmm
yeah, so back when I before you went into the restaurant, it's just, again, the perspectives, you just have to really consider the perspectives. And all of this is just backing up to the last episode and saying that you feel how you feel
hmm
about, what you've been doing for people and the responses that you're getting or not getting, and how you feel about how people should treat each other, and I felt how I felt, but I can also see your point. And I think that multiple realities can exist in the same, like multiple things can be true at once, right? It can be true that this person is is just not responding to you, you know. They're not thinking about you when they're doing what they're doing, and they're not considerate in the way that you would like. They're not they're not using the resources you're giving them. That can be
Oh,
true, right?
I want to mention this, Cheyenne. I
Wait,
want to
wait, wait,
mention
wait,
this.
wait.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So
Good,
that
good.
that
You
can
give me
be
time to
true.
bite. Hmm
But at the same time, everything that I said could also be true for the same person, right? They could also just not be seeing things that are related to you. They could also not be. the type of person that that's their love language, they could also have a lot of other crap going on. It's like multiple, all of those things can exist as reality. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Is the like the bottom line of what I'm saying about all of that. And we just kind of have to understand that life is just kind of complex. It's not just as simple as what you're able to see and put your hands on. What were you gonna say?
Um, um,
You wanted to
oh, I want,
mention.
oh yeah. So one of my friends, right? Or friends, I told him I was gonna share this on the episode. I was gonna call them out, and I
Mm-hmm.
just, and then and then you can say what you have to say after that. But um, because I thought this one was a great example, and I thought it was like a black and white thing, but whatever. So you guys hear me talk about my best friend, and his wife. Shout out to Rashane and Crystal, because yes, I'm about to put y'all out there, which I told y'all I'll give y'all the heads up. But so we have Rashane and Crystal, right? Um, and Rashane has a sister. Rashane has a younger sister. She's in middle school. Um, we all know she's in middle school. Anyways, let me also add. So you guys know I have the whole Lights on Girls organization. Crystal is also a part of the Lights on Girls team.
Yeah.
Let me just put that on the table. So yes, they already know I'm doing this. So yeah, so Crystal is not only the sister-in-law to the sister, but she's also on the team. So I think it probably was a couple days before the conference that like some girls hosting for middle and high school girls. I sent them a text, both of them saying, "Hey, because I don't see their sister on the registration list. I don't see her on there. Hey, what grade is your sister in?" They're like, "Oh, she's in sixth grade." I'm like, um, she coming on to the event? Both of them. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize. Then they call, and I'm saying, see, this is I don't know. I don't know how I'm supposed to take that, because like, you guys are promoted. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you guys are promoting the event. You guys are part of the whole planning. The whole thing, and the little girl is sitting right there in the halls. I don't know, said that, hey, she's in middle school. Which they apologize for, and because Crystal listened to the episode, she's like, "Wow, you just spoke about that," you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but she said it completely. She never thought about her um being um an attendee to the event. But I just wanted to put that out there. So that was an eye opening thing to her, because this happened after we had a conversation about the episode that she's going to do better, da, 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 da. And then that happened, and she's like, "Wow, I see what you're talking about now," because I just never connected those
So my
dots.
question to you is,
Hmm.
was it an eye opener for you?
It was.
Okay.
It
Because
was a
that's the
complete.
type of
Yeah, it
stuff I was
was.
trying to say to you, is that it doesn't necessarily mean that this person, because we both know that Rashane and Crystal have no
Hmm.
malintent for you
Exactly.
and your
Right.
business and your program, right?
Right. Right.
Crystal is there with you planning the
Right.
program.
That's my writer. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So it's like some things that
Hmm.
you is like present in your mind, it just doesn't flow automatically for everyone.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah. And I told her, so even after that conversation, and and because the conversation that I had with you afterwards, I, I myself, pat on my shoulder, liked how I dealt with it, because I didn't get, because you guys are Candy's emotional. I didn't get emotional about it. I told her it was fine. It's okay. I'm not going to hold it against, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I liked the way I handled it, because I just felt like, it's you yeah it slipped you, don't know how, don't know how, but it did, and it's fine. I mean, it's cool. How do we bounce back with it now? you know we did, and now it's something that you think about, because you know, it's happened now. And but yeah, yeah,
But the thing is,
things. Hmm.
like even what you're saying now is like, oh, you don't know how. You don't have to know how, right?
I'm I
Because
was okay. I was okay. It's
I'm
just a
just saying.
joke.
I'm just
Okay.
saying. You
Oh
really.
gosh.
All right. Let me stop.
No. Is this so you okay. Go ahead, Shine. Go ahead,
I'm
Shine.
just saying. It's just to my points is that I'm sorry. I just something. I can't. Oh God. Um.
Is everything okay over there?
Yeah, the AC just went on and it's like 50 degrees outside. I don't know what's happening in my house.
You don't have to know.
Okay. I guess this is another example of how multiple things can be true. Okay? You could be in the same house with someone and you're in your room and you're freezing cold and they're in their room and it's summer. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Multiple things can be true at once. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just how life works. I digress.
The ghetto. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just, I think one of the things that I took away from the conversation and that I'm trying to apply to my life is that is just understanding that you don't know everything and
Mm-hmm.
understanding that there are just things that you may never know. Like the universe is huge and we're just not going to understand why people do things they do. We're not going to understand why things are the way they are. There's just going to be some things that are just going to be left unexplained. And there's just going to be some things you're just going to have to deal with. But when you're coming to dealing with people to people relationships, we just kind of have to be kind to each other. And that's not going to be true because everybody's not going to be kind back to you. But you can't let that change. Like, once you've reached, for me at least, reaching this level of, I would like to call it a level of enlightenment for myself, where I can just kind of let go of certain things, it makes me a little bit more tolerant of people. And it makes me a little bit more tolerant of things that people do. It makes me less likely to take things personal, because I realize that it really, I might not be that important in somebody's life. You know what I mean? And they might have a lot going on that's way above me, why they are doing or being the way they are. And I sure as hell have a lot going on outside of other people, you know? So you just have to move in life just trying to do your best and not letting the other things like influence you. You got to do what you got to do for yourself, yes. Like if certain things do start to impact you, like I was saying, if whatever the person's doing, their vibe is negatively affecting you, then yeah, you got to do what you got to do. But you just got to also be mentally kind to them and say, well, I don't know why it is that they're in that space. I hope it works out for them. But where I'm at right now, let me move myself into this other space where I can do better and hope that they find themselves back around into a positive light at some point. And I've lost Candy.
No,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
still here.
Oh my god.
I just realized that I had the mute button. You know what I'm saying? I should have been using this before between all of those noises. I'm
uh,
like, yeah, mute button. Why wasn't I using the mute button this whole time?
I
So
almost got scared because I was like, I just did a whole speech and she didn't hear any of it.
you did. It was a good speech. Good speech. Um um yes, shy, yes, shy. I feel you though. You know, and I even thinking about that made me think of um how I realized that I tend to exercise empathy during certain situations
Mm.
and I don't in others. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like where it comes to, because of my job, where it comes to like mothers,
Mm-hmm.
parents, oh my gosh, big heart. Empathy for parents? Yeah, man. Leave them alone. Leave that mom alone because you don't know. Leave her alone. Don't say anything bad about her. Don't talk about
Mm.
her clothes. Don't talk about her this, because it's parent, mom. Shout out to them, But then I'm, thinking about when we had a whole friends conversation with things like that. I didn't exercise much empathy in those areas.
Mm.
So you saying that made me remember that yeah, I only apply that to certain people and to certain areas of my life where it's something that should be, you know, in all areas.
And it's not
Um,
unnatural to do that. You know
mhm,
what I'm saying? It's not. And I'm pretty sure if we all think about something else, and that might not necessarily even be empathy, something, some other way that you are in one aspect of your life, because we compartmentalize things naturally, So you might be, like one person might be really organized at work and like have everything it together, their desk is neat, they have a calendar, they got everything or set, and then you come home and their house is a complete mess. They can't find nothing, you know because they behave one way in one setting, and the other setting, they're some of the requirements are less, and so it's natural to kind of be that way. But I
mhm,
think specifically with the empathy, it is something that we could do well to incorporate in all areas of our lives, because you'd be surprised, like even at your job, with your boss or whatever the case might be, you might have an easier time if you start to like apply some of those thoughts elsewhere than to the obvious people that need empathy, you know?
right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah. But to the people that that did say that, Candy's emotional, I'm working on that this year. Actually, I'm trying not to let. No,
No,
honestly,
yeah.
no.
I was
I'm
just gonna
sorry. I
say we
meant to say
just
because we did have this
yeah.
discussion, right? I'm making room for my emotions,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I don't want it to take over my life. Like I was telling Shine recently, I had a major panic attack, anxiety, and I'm just starting to realize that yeah, I do overthink, and I'm just trying to uh process everything and trying to now not let these things take over my life to the point where I can't function.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I can't live a normal life. But
Mm.
you know, it is it is a process, man. I'm telling you, it's we out here, man, just trying to figure this ish out. You know what I'm saying? That
Mm-hmm.
was wasn't that the topic of our last episode? What was it again? Figuring it out?
Yeah, yeah. Just trying to
Yeah,
figure it out.
just trying to figure it out. And these conversations help. Like I really, whether you agree or you don't agree, I love the conversations, the ones that I have here with Cheyenne on the podcast, when you guys message and everything. I like it because it makes me realize that we are thinking, we do want to talk, we do have opinions, um and I like that we can have these conversations. I feel that they're needed. um People want to be heard, people want to be seen, and every time we do an episode, I feel like yeah, people out here have things they want to share, um and they want, and so yeah, that's it, figuring it out. I realize we're all figuring it out, trying to figure it out. Yeah,
Yeah.
and we all don't have the right answers. So stop trying to be know-it-alls. By the way, can I say that to So, okay, let me
Oh
not do
boy.
it. Throw shade. No, it's okay. So I think that was a shady moment I was going into. Maybe. All right.
Well, yeah, I enjoy the conversations too. And it definitely, I really enjoy hearing other people's perspective on
Oh
things.
yes. Oh yes.
And it gives me a lot to think about. And it gives me a lot to, I don't know, because I think even in this time of my life as well,
Mhm.
where I am kind of on a quest to even understand myself,
Mhm.
like hearing a lot of other perspectives, you would think it gets kind of crowded and confusing. But hearing other perspectives, it kind of puts you in a situation where you can kind of assess, like, there's some things where you see something on the news or you see something on TV and you think, I would never do that. Or you say, if it was me, then, this is what I would do. But you really don't know what you would do, what you would say. Some of the things we might think we have like a moral ground on which we stand on for certain things. And you never know until you're put in a situation how you're going to respond and how you're going to react. Um, because you might not have ever specifically thought about what your views are on something, or what your stance is on something. And you might think you have a stance, maybe based off of what your Christian belief is, or what your parents taught you. But then when you hear another side to how someone else was raised differently from you and why they think about it in the opposite way, you might be able to relate, or you might be like, huh, well, that I definitely don't feel that way. Or you might be able to kind of see some middle ground between where you stood and where they are. And you just never will ever know these things until you start to have these conversations with people. And I think that's where we need to be, or that, I can tell y'all where y'all need to be. That's where I am, is having conversations with people that I would not normally have, and being open to just hearing other people's point of view on even the most controversial of issues. Actually, I wasn't even going to keep going, but as I said that, I remembered that lately, um, I've had conversations with my preceptors, these doctors who are well into their career, and I've had this conversation with a black doctor who says, you think you like, what Bernie Sanders is saying right now? You think you like the whole idea of universal health care? You think you like all this stuff that they're saying? And when you become a doctor and you start doing this and that, you're going to see that all of it is foolishness. And that came from a black doctor. He's like, you're going to start to see the other side of what the Republicans are saying. Da 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 da. And then I had another doctor, a white doctor, say the same thing. Now I would have expected it from the white doctor, sure, but I didn't expect it from the black doctor. And then the more I hear these doctors talk about the conversation about politics and healthcare and about taxes, I start to think, so hold on, how did they come to this perspective? You know what I mean? And like when I start to make money, am I gonna feel like the government is taxing me too much? You know what I mean? These aren't, and not all of them are people who grew up rich. If you get what I'm trying to say. I
Right.
might have went into too much detail at this point, but the point is that now I'm like having to do my research and say, do I just feel this way because I'm poor and what these people are saying to benefit poor people sounds good to me, or do I need to really have a good understanding of the economics behind it all? You know what I'm trying to say? And formulate my opinion based off of facts rather than how I feel. You know? So it's just you just gotta be having these conversations with people. You gotta do your research. You gotta read. You just gotta educate yourself, not just on things that are
Social media.
traditionally, yeah, not just social media stuff, not just pop culture, but you really gotta educate yourself out here because like lots of things are happening around us and we're not getting any younger. you know, we haven't even begun to adult. If I'm just saying,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. One thing though, can I just to, I guess because we're wrapping up now,
Mhm.
are we right?
Yes. Yes.
So someone, did say to me, all the conversations that happened after the last episode, and I guess they decided to catch up on previous episodes. Um, but what they said is that they like how different we are. You
Mm.
know what I'm saying? Um, they like how different we are. Because they can see we're on some conversations. They're like, yeah, yeah, that's right, Cheyenne. I feel you. And then on some they're like, yeah, get hype like Candy. That needs passion. That needs energy. And I was saying, I never really thought about it like that until they said, because I mean I already knew that we were different, but um it goes back to just host, different conversation that we have along the way. Like, yeah, you may agree with this one, you may not agree with this one, you may agree with both.
Yeah.
But different people take what they want from um the conversation. I think it helps to have different perspectives on things. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
can you imagine how boring it would be if we like every episode we're like, oh, yeah, we're all on the same page and we're all on the same tone and we're all, I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, would that be that interesting? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if we listen to any podcasts like that though, do we?
I
Where
mean,
they're both the same? Do we have any like that we?
well, it's not that. I mean, I don't think we. I mean, we're not the same, but I don't know if we disagree a lot. I actually
I think
wish
it's also a
we.
tone. Like
Oh well,
you're.
yeah, yeah.
I think tone helps too.
I actually wish that we disagreed more. Like
Really?
last week, I do. I wish we had more topics that we had different views on.
Hmm.
That we could kind of have more, have a conversation on. I mean, we've been having good conversations. Don't get me wrong.
What's something we disagree on right now? Do you know
Right
of anything we
now,
disagree on? Have we disagreed on something recently that
whether
you can think
Remy is
of?
funny or not.
Ah, that was
Whether the
funny.
girls on the real are corny before Amanda joined or not.
Okay, okay, you good. Okay, she's right. Those are things, yes. That was funny. I like that, Shine. That was really cool how you did that. Or the advice from an F boy. You don't think he's sexy?
No. Oh my God.
Clean school. Yeah. Okay.
That was the
Fine. All
last
right.
thing I expected you to say today.
Oh my god.
I mean,
Okay.
he's funny. I don't think he doesn't he doesn't float my boat at all.
Well, I mean, like, of course, you and Tony like to say that I have a thing for certain. But anyways,
Actually, he doesn't. I have to look at him some more. He floats out of your category just a little bit. I don't
you
know.
think so?
I gotta look at this. I gotta look at this one. And we did
Okay.
have this conversation 2 episodes ago about you and your type
Okay.
on
Okay.
the podcast. But
Anyway, yeah. So
yes,
okay, so those are some of the things we agree on. They're not serious topics, but
yes.
yeah, she doesn't think Rennie's funny. If you guys know who Rennie is, let me know if you think he's funny because I think he's hilarious. He's so cute, but okay, fine. Shine doesn't think he's funny. And the real, she doesn't like the girls. She
Listen,
does. She thinks she doesn't like them.
okay. I don't not like them. I don't like. I just feel like for the show to be called The Real, prior to Amanda Seals joining, the conversations were just so mundane for me. I was just
Oh
like,
my
oh
god.
God.
Whatever.
Ugh.
You don't even follow it. Like you don't even watch it like that
I
to even form a
hello.
full.
Yeah, hey,
Okay.
hey, hey.
All
When I
right.
was home,
Okay.
it's on my TV every
Okay.
morning.
Okay.
First Wendy, then the real comes on. And I would be home, and that's what me and my dad and Shanique and my mom would watch in the mornings before Shanique and my mom would go to bed.
Okay.
So
All right. All right.
I watched, okay, the times, I mean, I haven't watched recently, but I'm just saying, from the first season when they gave out ramen noodles, I was done.
I didn't even know they gave out ramen noodles. Okay, so see, like you, so you've watched. Okay, so fine, you've watched full episodes. I just watched the clips on Instagram.
Yeah. Okay, see, you need to sit down and watch a full episode one day, because some of the segments that they be doing, Jeannie is too much for me. I need someone to turn down the switch in her back. And Candy's gone. Please hold. Y'all, she's back.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry about that, guys. But here, see, we're gonna disagree on that. You was starting to talk about Jeannie. What were you about to say about her?
Jeannie, someone needs to turn down the switch in her back. Like, they need to reach
What?
behind her, under her shirt, and take the knob and just turn her down like 2 or 3 notches for me.
See, we disagree on that. I love Jeannie. I love her personality. I love it. I love it.
I'm gonna make a prediction right here, and this is all I'm gonna say on that.
They're gonna break up? What? No.
Her and no, I'm not talking about
Oh.
GZ. I don't even want
Oh.
to even think about her and GZ. I'm over that. Her and Amanda are gonna clash. I
You know
see
what?
it coming. Her and Amanda, she is going to. Amanda is gonna have to put her in check one day, because
Hmm.
I feel like she tiptoes, as much as she is not white. She
I'm gonna agree
tip
with you on that
she
one. I'm gonna agree with you
tiptoes
on that.
around the cultural appropriation, and I just feel it coming. I just feel it.
I will agree with you on that, and not even just her. Like I just feel like the type of person Amanda is. I feel like there's going to be some clash with one of the girls.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not the sister. Which one is it? Is it
Tamara.
Tamara? Tamara. Maybe not Tamara, because Tamara because Tamara is not a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to start crying. Um, but I think maybe one of the other girls.
I don't even. I mean, it could be. I feel like she could. Not that she won't disagree with any of them, but I feel like where it's gonna be like, not necessarily like a breakup of the show or anything like that, but it might be a tense moment. I feel like it's gonna come from being with either her and Jeannie, and secondly maybe her and Adrian,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
I think some behind the scenes stuff could pop off too, though. That they
yeah.
try to play off on set, like, oh, we're Gucci, but
Mm-hmm.
they're really there's some stuff going on behind the scenes.
Mm.
You know, I think that
Well.
there's a possibility. So see, we agree on that one. You know, there we go. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but I don't I think Jeannie's cool though. Other than that, like she's
Mm-hmm.
fire. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes we need some of that, in our lives,
Mm-hmm.
Can't all be all right. So
No, I'm sorry. I'm gonna
so
say something else.
oh my god.
I.
Are we supposed to be wrapping up?
It's okay. We got a few minutes to spare. Listen, you know
Oh god,
why
here she
I
go,
cannot
here
deal
she go,
with
here she go.
people that are like on 100 all the time. Like I can't. Like right now, there's someone that's in my rotation with me every day, that I just, like, I'm just walking behind her and I'm just rolling my eyes all day, or I'm like audibly groaning every time she says something, because I'm
I
just
can
like,
so see Sharon
ugh.
doing that. I can so see it.
I'm just
I can
like,
see it.
because she's just like, get it? Like, she's just irritates me, you know? Like, she finds a way to inject her something about herself into every conversation that doesn't even have anything to do with her. Like, somebody's talking about something, and she's like, well, when I was da 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 da, I used to da 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 da. And she references maybe like this because she just moved from somewhere else. She references this move at least 8 times a day. Like, well, I just moved from so and so, and when I was at so and so, we used to da 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 da. Well,
But
when I was
Shan,
at
you
what?
know you get annoyed easily though.
I get annoyed easily.
You do.
Maybe it's me.
You do. You get annoyed easily. Like certain, yeah, you know that. You you talk about even your sister sometimes. You have a short fuse for certain things sometimes. So you know, hey, you know what I'm saying?
Well, girl, I don't know. Like, oh, yesterday I had to catch myself because she started to say something, and I let out a noise.
Guys, the whole time Shine is talking right now, I promise you, I can see, like, I have it in my head exactly what Shine looks like. I see the face, I see her body language, I can see
Oh,
it.
it's painful. Like, I can't. Like,
Oh my
something, we were
gosh.
like scrubbed into surgery. Thank God for those masks in surgery. Because I was just like, ugh.
Oh my God. So, what are you saying when she's doing all of this talking? You just stay quiet?
Girl, sometimes, because sometimes she's talking to just me, because sometimes it's just me and her, walking through the halls, and she just starts talking about something, and I'm like, just like, uh huh, uh huh. And then she says something and she's laughing, and I'm just like, like, I give her the chuckle, but it's like I can't. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes I don't have the energy to give her a chuckle. Like, I just, I just want to pull my hair out.
Listeners, try to surround yourself with a variety of people. You hear? Try not to make sure all your friends is the same like you, because then you listen. Have a variety of friends. That's all I won't say. Just surround yourself with variety, good variety, but variety.
Oh, child. Oh, man.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Whew. So yeah,
Well,
there we go.
this conversation was filled
It was
with
good, right?
different things.
Oh yeah, right.
We went
I
to
think
get
that's what I think
food.
that's what our episodes are becoming now, don't it?
Well,
Remember our beginning episodes were kind of like
well,
kind
it's
of
only these last. Well, this we only had one episode where we just randomly talked, and then this one was we had our main focus, but we went to pick up
variety.
food.
Variety is the spice of
We
life.
we talked to the guys at the barbershop,
We did.
and
Well, yeah. Well, none of them said they were gonna suck my toes. So
okay. Lucky for you.
lucky for me, because I would have probably taken you up on that offer.
All right. And
I'm.
with that note,
It was
on that note, thanks guys for listening.
Oh, thank you guys for listening. I was just joking on that one. Okay, guys.
Okay,
Please
don't
nobody
stop.
call me or
Can you
message me
stop?
on that.
Stop it.
Okay. Thanks for listening. I don't think I'm
Well,
listening to anything new right now.
am I listening to
Are
anything
you?
new?
Okay.
No.
No. All
All
right. All
right.
right.
Holla at you girls.
Bye. See you
Bye.
next episode. Bye.